Well, as I turn this music down a little bit, shall we dance? 1, 2, 3, and. Goodness gracious. What's happening, everybody? There's another song about to start because it's the pre-intro to the show. Happy Hump Day on the show, day after the election. And as I mentioned at the end of the show yesterday, this very well could be the TikTok midterms. I knew that when you can't get too caught up in the polls, and I let myself do it a little bit yesterday. But oh boy. Now, technically, I suppose the House will change because there's a net 6 gain in the House. They only needed 5. The Senate is still up for grabs, sort of, depending on how some of these late votes come in Nevada and the runoff in Georgia. But the red wave, the red tsunami, the red whatever the hell, more like a red wet blanket, got put on the Republicans. But, hey, you see this face? I'm still laughing. I'm still smiling because that's all you can do. But as someone said in the chat, if these idiots don't know what to do, let them live through it. I'm just saying. Anyway, we'll talk about that and as much more as I can on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time to play the intro. Johnny, would you do me a favor and play the intro? You have to stop that music first.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
Yes, here I am, your brother from another mother, asking for another day. Stop the music. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight on the internet. And welcome to the P-Dog Knight channel on this Wednesday, Hump Day, the 9th of November, 2022. The day after Election Day, the day after we got to watch some things were good, but boy, oh boy, it was a very, very disappointing day if you are on the side of the sane. I shouldn't say that. There's a few sane Democrats. Well, I don't know if there are or not, but I'm going to pretend there are. It did not turn out to be what we were expecting it to be, but looks like it's possibly that the House has turned over. So now I haven't even looked at anything this morning. I've been just listening to other people talk about it. Let me check out. Let's check out CNN election results 2022. I had this on here last night. Let's go to the. Well, let's just go. By the way, in my state, we elected Tim Wall or whatever the guy's name, Walls. I just can't. They only have. Oh, guess what? In Arizona, there's 69% of the vote in. Oh yeah. it's still within 10, 12,000 votes. They still got about 30% of the vote to count in Arizona because no way can you count the votes the night of the election. But they had some problems there. You understand it happens. The big one though, with the night. Oh, wait, let me stop. I'm gonna stop. I'm sorry. By the way, what I was looking at was this. Oh wait, you can't even see it. Let me fix that. My boy, oh boy, my brain ain't doing well for me today. Here we go. So this was what I was looking at. I was looking at the picture page, CNN races, governor races, whatever. They're all here, and that Arizona race is still. There's a lot of votes to count in Arizona. The big one, though, that got us started was Ron DeSantis. But I'm going to stop because I don't have anything prepared today. I literally am going to go through Twitter and look at what things pop up because I was disgusted with everything this morning. Plus, I got here late. Let's do this. Let's say good morning to everybody first. And then we're just going to run through some of these things. Okay? How's that sound? Does that sound good with you? And then tonight, it's going to be a little bit more. We'll talk a little more deeply. I'm going to be on chat. There's Chad in the chat. In fact, we're going to be counting until next Monday. Yes, we probably will. Isn't that crazy? First of all, thanks to HP Lovecraft, by the way, for response to the show today. It says, since we're all feeling blue, I'm buying P-Dog a beer and some joy. Well, that is probably something I will be partaking in later today. But today I just have my coffee, and that's my new Your Life Matters cup. You can get that in the description down below. I got a Teespring and a Streamlabs store. Thank you very much for sponsoring. What the hell is that? What? Oh, that's a dumb commercial on CNN. This is CNN. All right, let's say good morning, and then we're going to get into this. First in the chat today over on Rumble is Advocatus Diablo, who gets the bell. Thank you for being there, sir. Also, Mike Savage, Blarg, and Jimmy Toss Hotep, who says, let's go. The citizens lost last night. New Mexico is last in everything, and we have been blue since 1930. The insanity continues. That's unfortunate. By the way, make sure you follow me both on YouTube and on Rumble. You never know what's going to happen around here. And you know what I need? I think 13 more people to follow me on Rumble so I don't have to pay for this damn streaming anymore. I've been paying for it up to now. I guess once you get 100 people following you on Rumble, they'll let you stream without having to pay for it. So please, if you have a moment, follow me over Rumble. That'd be helpful. But ideally, I want to get 1,000 people on Rumble before my 1,000th episode, which is coming up in about 70 episodes. So let's get on that. Over on YouTube, first in the chat today. Now, this may be a little messed up. Oh, first in the chat over there is Advocatus Diablo too, because he's Johnny on the spot. Also, good morning, Tyranius, Alexandrius, Tremerlich, HP Lovecraft, Mike Savage, Blarg, Hate Campbell, one of the original viewers of the Morning Night Live. Number 2. You're number 2, Hate Campbell. You're number 2. Also, good morning, Rotten Corpse, Tyler F, Fox P2. Fox, I got the feeling if you're in a slightly negative mood today, I'm going to try to lift your spirits just by being cheerful, despite my true inner self. I'm just saying. Why did I have that shit on the screen? Let's put me back on there. Also, good morning, Man Squatch. I said HP Lovecraft. Who else is here? Zach Osborne, aka Plague Dr. Zach, Jethro Hetero. Who else did I see? I'm doing the Mr. Rogers things, right? Is it Mr. No, Romper Room used to do that. Dom O'Leary, what's up? Good to see you here. Let's see. Redskin fan, welcome back. Rick Cashbringer. Where did I see you? Oh no, you put a comment in the comment section because when you watched the replay, you put a comment in the comment section. I love it when people put comments in the comment section. I really appreciate that. Thanks to it. FX is in the house, aka Fox Meyer QBD. Just try to pronounce that. It's all consonants. Also, good morning, Jay Pylon. and Anna Lynn, and who else is here? I saw. Oh, and Chad Lemoy is here, who I'm going to be on his show tonight. In fact, Chad, would you give me the link to the show? I know the stream. I got that in my DMs, but I want to put it in the chat so people can bookmark that today. Also, good morning, Nomad. There we go.
Hammer time.
Formerly known as MC. Robert Gruber, welcome to the show. Nice to see you. And that's about everybody. What does it say? Voting only works if you're the only one counting the fucking votes. Oh, damn. That's rough, man. Also, Benjamin Johnson, what's up? Looks like I only need 9 more. Oh, well, I'll take them. Mr. Scott, thanks for putting me over here on... putting another couple on the map. St. Jude Dude, also good morning. Chicago Mike, Mr. Scott, DI Freighter Watcher, and I think that's everybody in the chat so far. I'm sure there'll be more. So let's talk about this. Now, last night I joined Hotep Jesus at a all-star cast on the Hotep's Been Told You stream on Rumble and YouTube. And as we're watching the election returns, we see Florida coming in, and Florida came in hot. I mean, it came in hot. They had the votes counted. They had it going on, and it was Canada Hotep's in the house. What the hell? Canada Hotep. I got you links, but you'll have to Blue Wrench me to share them. No, if you just put it there, I'll just share it. But I can do that too, Jay. Here, Jay. Put that link up there. That would be fantastic. What I do there? There we go. There. Now you can put that. You can put that on there. So we're watching the returns last night, and Florida's returns came in quick, and they called it quick because it wasn't just a wave in Florida. I mean, it was like the final scene in Carrie in Florida. There was blood and everywhere, right? And DeSantis wins by 20. I mean, 19.4%. And that's with 98% of the votes counted. And Marco Rubio won by like 16, whatever. They flipped 3 seats to Republicans. And it just kind of looked like, Miami-Dade even went red last night. And we're like, damn, is this a foreshadowing? Is this, is this something of things to come? And so we're watching, but then we kind of stopped paying attention because we got to talking about a lot of other stuff. It was really good. Good morning, Natasha Kayleen. How are you doing? And also Tex AG, what's up? So we kind of stopped paying attention. And so we got to talking about a lot of other things. And Sonny Johnson was on fire as usual. And who else was there? Jeff from Red State. And all sorts of people popped in. We were having such a fun conversation. Trippy, what's up? Nice to see you. And kind of forgot to pay attention to what was going on. And when I had to go to bed, right? So I'm like, I had to leave the stream. And I go up and I look at my phone and I'm like, oh, well, because we were watching some of the races and we're seeing how all these races are really close. They're all really close. There's a whole lot of counting to do. And it was, it was okay. And so I go up and I check my phone. I'm like, I'm not feeling like this is going all that well. Well enough. They were still, all the races were really close, but just, I didn't feel like, most of the races we paid attention. We were paying attention to Georgia because that Walker-Warnock race was, going back and forth. Kemp was going back and forth. But then Kemp started pulling away and we're like, okay, maybe this is a good sign for Walker too. But Walker and Warnock ends up in a runoff. And we're okay. I'm like, okay. It looked like it was going to be that way, and that's the way it actually ended up. So in December, Warnock will be sent back to the Senate because the Democrats have a way better get out the vote, a way better get out the vote machine than the Republicans do. At least that's unless somebody does some really serious work in Georgia. And I don't know if that means Trump coming to Georgia, because I don't know if Trump necessarily fires up the people of Georgia as much as it does everywhere else. It kind of does, but there's a built-in skepticism of Trump in Georgia. Think about Georgia, okay? Because all you've been hearing about for the last probably 3 weeks, right, is that the election deniers. They're talking about election deniers, right? And I've been laughing because I'm watching tweets. This Daniel Dale talked about a very bad night for election deniers. He rattles off all these Republican governor candidates or whatever, right? But those candidates he was rattling off that lost, governor's races were generally running against Democrats or incumbents, right? But the one that they never would mention, one election denier that they would never mention, was Stacey Abrams, right? Stacey Abrams was an election denier, right? And I don't know why they got this title of election denier as something that's supposed to be bad or whatever. Like, you're not supposed to ever question election. Oh no, don't ever question election, especially when especially when our guy wins. So, but and then Brian Kemp wins rather handily. So that ticket was split. Because, he won by, 200,000 votes? Oh, no, almost 300,000 votes. 2.104 million to 1.805 million. So that's just shy of 300,000 votes in Georgia. And by the way, Stacey Abrams has conceded that one, unlike last year. But so we're watching these races, and I go to bed. I'm like, this isn't looking as good as I thought it would. Man, we might win some of these races, but we're not winning the ones that I thought would be the shockers. Like, I thought that there would be a shocker in the New York governor's race. No dice. I was hoping that there'd be at least a close race in Michigan and possibly eke that one out. Nope, didn't happen. I was hoping in my state of Minnesota that it would be close and we'd squeak one out. Nope. Because the Twin Cities, where I live, is the part of Minnesota that controls politics in this state. And the outer state is red as hell right now. I mean, you find nothing but, Jensen signs and still some leftover Trump signs out in western Minnesota and northern Minnesota and southwest Minnesota. But you get to the Twin Cities, it's definitely the Twin Cities and Rochester. Blue is all get out, and there was major turnout in St. Paul. What's that? Both abortion and transing the kids counts as mutation. That's the other thing I was going to talk about. This was not a good time for. I don't think it was a good time for abortion to be on the ballots anywhere. Now, it didn't make any difference in Florida, but now, and one of the things last things I said yesterday. Hello, Kay. Oh, Kay, you're back. You got my. Thank you, by the way, for contributing to that show last night. That was a very interesting thing. And welcome to Kay, who's in the chat. Did they ever figure out your vote? Did you ever get to vote, or was that like a permanent decision? They didn't give you a provisional ballot or anything. I meant to ask you that last night. Also, good morning, Aaron Meredith. So, but okay, I'm going all over the place. So I went to bed. I see these races are good. So then I wake up at 3 a.m, right? And the only one still really, the only person I follow that was still live was Tree of Logic. Let's be honest about the Twin Cities. Oh, I'm absolutely honest about the Twin Cities. Minneapolis, St. Paul dominates the voting numbers. And unless they can really, really, really get turnout in, and Duluth too. Duluth's pretty blue too. But outstate Minnesota is almost completely red. Anyway, so I get up 3 a.m, as I'm getting ready to go to work, and I check out Tree of Logic. She's still on. She's just laughing at Charlie Kirk. Because Charlie Kirk, I guess they were still on too. And they were looking at the Senate race in Arizona. Now, let's see, is it Masters? Who is it? Masters? Masters, yeah. Masters and Kelly, right? Now, here, let me show you this. I'll show you this on the screen here. This race right here, I think you can see my cursor. Kelly's up by roughly just under 90,000 votes. And they only have 69% of the returns in. Wait, what? Did you say 69? Oh, yeah. Okay, sorry. I can't help it. That's the dumbest joke I keep telling over and over. They have 69% of the returns in, right? And at the time it was like 64. So apparently they, over between 3 a.m. and now they've counted another 5% of the returns. St. Cloud, St. Paul. What? Did I say St. Paul? Well, no, there's a St. Cloud in Minnesota too, but I meant St. Paul. Anyway, so, and Charlie Kirk was just like, well, it looks like we can still get this one, blah, 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 blah. I don't know if you can make up 80,000 votes out of, I think they said there are 120 left. So you'd have to get about 60% of the remaining votes. And I don't think it's going to happen. And Carrie Lake might pull it through. Okay, let's go back to the governor one. Carrie Lake, there we go. With 30% of the vote uncounted, Carrie Lake's only down a couple thousand, but 10 or 8,000, right, or 12,000. Now that's possible. You got 90,000 votes. If it's in certain parts of Arizona that are more red, that's possible. Here's the problem: what county were they having all these problems in? What county were they having the problems in? It was in Maricopa. Now, the Maricopa problems started early. They had, I think, 20% of their voting machines were not tabulating the ballots correctly. Now, I was following that whole thing, and let's see if I can find it here. They let's see. I didn't even bookmark it. I didn't even bookmark it. Anyway, what happened? Their tallying machine stopped working. 20%. I mean, this is election day. You've had 2 years to get your shit together, and their machines weren't working. And now, in this climate where the media is all bitching about election deniers and everyone's talking about this, and this is you want your elections to go smoothly, the county that people were most concerned about in Arizona, of course, screws it up. Now, about midday, they came out, had a little presser saying they figured out what was wrong with the machines, and they were going to go out and fix them all and then do the tabulations, because they were going to what they were originally going to do was they said, well, if the machine don't work, if our machines in this polling place don't work, there's a second slot you can put them in you can collect all the ballots, and then we're going to transport all those ballots to a central location and count them there, which I'm sure they would have done it with boarded up windows and whatnot. But apparently they fixed it. So I'm trying to figure out, though, how is it they can't count those votes the same day? Why are 30% of their ballots not counted? Now, I'm not saying anything to the idea that something nefarious is going on. I just don't understand why they can't do that. 25% were not working in Maricopa, and what's more, they ran out of ballots again in some precincts. That's brilliant. How do you... I didn't know that, no bad. Thank you for letting me know. Real quick, thank you, Johnny Hellcat, for dropping a Streamlabs chat. And Johnny Hellcat, you are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you, sir. Who says, don't know what you're talking about. Georgia's governor has always been Stacy. That's what the doctor who poked that hole in my forehead said, at least. Why did the doctor poke a hole in your forehead? I don't know what you're talking about, Johnny. Anyway, thank you, Johnny Hellcat, the original viewer of the Morning Night Live. All right, so anyway, Now, there was some good news. Obviously, the DeSantis. Oh, I was going to talk about winners and losers. Now, in my thumbnail, you would think that the winners and losers I was talking about necessarily were the candidates themselves, which certainly we could talk about the candidates. Clearly, Ron DeSantis is a winner of the week, of the day. Not only did he blow out the poll predictions, but he doubled them. He doubled the predictions as far as his winning percentage. Marco Rubio caught some coattails. Interesting change in the Hispanic demographic in Florida, where they came out and voted for the Republicans. Miami-Dade, definitely, and three Republican seats, or 3 seats flipped to Republican in Florida. Brian Kemp on the Republican side is one of the winners, as far as, despite the fact that Herschel's in a runoff, Brian Kemp decidedly beat Stacey, or what's her name? Stacey Adams? And I forgot her name. Stacey Abrams, excuse me. Losers, big losers last night. Beto O'Rourke. Beto O'Rourke has lost, what did he lose? A Senate race, a presidential race, and now a governor's race in the state of Texas, because Beta. Other winners, John Fetterman, the love child of Lurch and Uncle Fester, has won in Pennsylvania, which goes to prove Democrats are very successful when they hire people with certain types of disabilities. I got a question for y'all though, because J.D. Vance, big winner in Ohio too. Ohio and Florida both have turned into, they both have been swing states in the past. I'm wondering now if those states are solid red states. Clearly Florida is, and Ohio seems to be. J.D. Vance won quite handily last night in the Senate race there. My question to you though, here's my question to you. There's a whole bunch of other ones. Let's see, in Kansas has a Democrat governor now. Is Kelly the incumbent? Oh, still the incumbent. The incumbent won, just barely holding off Schmidt. In Alaska, Dunleavy won. Here, I'll even put these on the screen. I should probably, let's see. Let's do this. There we go. These are the governor's races. Maine, Mills is the incumbent one. Maryland, Moore beat Cox. Oh, stop it. But there's still, it's a commanding lead with only 73% of the vote. Massachusetts with 52% of the vote in. Healy is crushing Deal, whoever that is. This is the one that kind of bums me out, though. Whitler. Whitler got reelected in Michigan. And also that Prop 3 that basically makes abortion a constitutional right in Michigan, meaning, and also basically that bill, or that so-called constitutional right, basically is for medical decisions without an age limit, which also means someone could go to court to say that they can go ahead and do that, those child medical procedures that we've been talking a lot about on children without their parents' consent. I think that's kind of opens the door for that, because the way the bill is written, the medical decision of abortion is also a procedure that those underage people can do because it's a constitutional right. That's kind of strange. I don't think people read that bill very closely. Anyway, New Mexico, who was just saying that? As Jimmy Dawes was saying, New Mexico still blue. New York, Hochul beat Zeldin with 92% of the votes in. The one thing, it's been a while since New York's been that close. And then Oklahoma went red. Oregon is still with 76% of the vote. That one's still close. That's within a percentage point with 76% of the vote. That was one of those ones we thought, oh, could that one possibly flip? And also, I think state of Washington was one of those. But Oregon, yeah, that's awfully close. And here's the problem in Oregon. This Johnson person, 8.8%. Is that being a spoiler for the Democrat, or is that could that have been a pickup for a Republican Oregon? And look, I just saw a tweet or something from Tim Pool. They are boarding up buildings all over Portland, just in case, because you know how those motherfuckers in Portland are. Pennsylvania, Shapiro beat Mastriano heavily. Abbott knocked out O'Rourke. And in Wisconsin, Evers seems to have won over Michaels. Interesting. Trump didn't do what he was going to do. Fire people, must clean house immediately on Twitter. That is what we need in government mass firings. Yes, I agree with that. Who wrote that? HP? I agree with that. I don't know that, but there's a problem. If you are coming into the government as a civil servant, that makes it hard by law to fire those people because, the government employee unions and shit. Let's see. So anyway, those are the governor races. Let's we'll go to the Senate races here. In the Senate, Arizona hasn't been called yet, but 90,000 votes with 30% to count yet. Colorado stayed blue with Bennett. Rubio crushed Val Demings by 16 points. I think that's a coattails win from Ron DeSantis. Thank Ron DeSantis for Florida. In Georgia, there is no winner in Georgia. They will have a runoff, it looks like, with 96% of the vote in. It's neither candidate got 50%. It'll be interesting to see how that goes in December. I don't have great hope for Herschel Walker winning in a runoff. Maybe. I don't think the people who voted for Oliver, who knows which way they're going to go. In Iowa, Chuck Grassley. Now, that was what I was looking at last night early on. And this Grassley-Franken race was really close, but in the end, Grassley wins by 12 points. In Nevada, they're still counting 20% of the vote still to count. Laxalt is still up. If they win this one and runoff in Georgia, the Senate will be Republicans by 51-49. They really need Laxalt to pull this one out. 20% of the vote, I don't trust anybody, man. I don't trust anybody. In New Hampshire, Maggie Hassan, which we thought might have been a possibility, at least polling-wise, she was close. It was not close. She wins by 60,000 votes in a small race. Real quick, thank you, Chicago Mike, for sponsoring the show. Dropping a small bullet in the chat. Yes, the Dirt Eater lost. I'm so devastated, he says in a sarcastic tone. Yes, I am so sad that Beto O'Rourke lost. Oh, boy. J.D. Vance wins in Ohio fairly handily. Pennsylvania, Fetterman knocks out Oz, 94% of the vote, but he's not going to make up 120,000 votes in that small amount of votes. Mike Lee hangs on against McMullen. McMullen, the former Republican who is just a gadfly on Twitter. In Washington, Murray wins handily. In Wisconsin, Ron Johnson is up by the skin of his teeth, 30,000 votes with 94% of the vote in. Ugh. I hope that's not. I hope those 30, that 6% isn't in Milwaukee, because you know what happens in Milwaukee. So anyway, literally 10,000 votes in a row for all the Dem candidates. Oh, there are already graphs being posted of 2020-esque fortification in the Warnock-Walker race and other races. Is there? You know what? I'm not going to go to those. I can't even talk about that. I can't talk about that at all. So anyway, what I wanted to do is I wanted to read to you. I'm a fan of the Ace of Spades blog, and JJ Sefton has his morning report that I use as an aggregator for a lot of my shows. And I just want to show you. In fact, let me make sure I put this link out there. Let me link this because if you ever want to find a lot of good articles, or a really good aggregator, I like him better than Drudge or some of these others. Bongino has a decent one. But if you're looking for an aggregator with an edge, JJ Sefton is my favorite from the Ace of Spades blog. And here's how here's his morning report. And here I'm just gonna read it verbatim because it's humorous. Good morning, kids. I guess you could say it's one step forward and 99 and 44/100ths of a step back this morning. While one cannot automatically dismiss the stupidity of the average voter, and for sure we have an alarmingly high percentage of stupid people, the Democrat base has their innate stupidity fortified with cult-like and flexible brainwash zealotry. There is just no way in hell a large number of the elections were not... I'm sorry. I forgot I can't use this type of language. We're not more than perfect, best election of all times ever. You know what I'm saying, I think. Excuse me. Seriously, stupidity alone cannot account for a brain-damaged goon whose positions are so abhorrent, repugnant, and financially ruinous to the average Pennsylvanian to win that Senate seat. I've never in my life wanted to be more wrong about anything than to be proven wrong and eat a giant plate of crow about what I stated yesterday, which is, here's what JJ said yesterday. I'd be lying to you if I said I wasn't even slightly concerned about the potential for the now patented and perfected Democratic voting starts with an F and ends with an odd, to throw, if not all of the key races that preserve Democrat control over Congress, and then at least a few so as to preserve the official line mean that, well, it's the midterms and 95% of the time the party in power loses control in Congress, but no way does it mean disaffection or disapproval of our agenda. I think it's safe to say that the Democratic cheat machine fouled up. I'm probably just going to get a strike. I don't care. Fouled up more than a few key races. Take a look at the results in states where election security is taken seriously and that the safeguards are generally reliable. As I also stated yesterday, it took Democratic left, now fortified with the GOP New Deal globalists and co-conspirators, a little over 100 years to essentially nullify the Constitution and get to the point where they are this close, place a red pew between the thumb and forefinger, to seizing absolute power. A key to that is creating the illusion that despite poverty, crime, misery, global instability via foreign policy cluelessness, and general societal disillusion, that everything they believe once implemented has wrought that they are the good guys who will create paradise on earth. A red wave of the kind that was expected would have exploded the myth for perhaps for all time. You really think they're going to allow that to happen via the ballot box? They did it before, and they will do it again and again and again. I don't know what he's talking about. I have no idea whatsoever. Free and fair elections are an indicator of a healthy and functioning society and government. It is obvious to anyone who has slightly higher brain function than Lumpy Festerman and Sponge Brain shitpants that we may not have that. I can't read this. Their traditional style that were the hallmark of individuals like Richard Daley and LBJ goes beyond merely preserving a criminal enterprise that abused elective office for profit, even with the Biden crime family, which ultimately involved jeopardizing our own national security by selling us out to corrupt foreign governments as well as global rivals and enemies. It was not ideological. Biden's brain is mush, so the shit spouts that he spouts coming from the mind of scum like Obama and John Meacham. So, not so today. At least not in the main. Top to bottom, those who are making these elections the most pristine and perfect elections of all time are the true believers that Eric Hoffer warned us about. Their hatred for us has been so ingrained and their minds are so warped that the rigging on the ship and the subversion of our rights are seen as patriotic acts to preserve that by their own actions are destroying. We have to destroy the Constitution to preserve it. That was the nub of Molly Ball's horrific admission and boasting about how the entire deep state and media propaganda complex came together to sabotage and ultimately take the former ballot things that we did in the years of the second Trump attempt. I can't read this. Thank you, Chicago Mike, for sponsoring the show. And I think, does that make, Chicago Mike, you are the new Streamlab Superstar sponsor of the day. Mike says, being from Chicagoland area, I have to ask this. How many deceased people, dead people, you know the dead people.
I see dead people.
Participated in their constitutional duty in Pennsylvania. Y'all are trying to get me killed from here, aren't you? I should not even read this. Now, Jen Psaki circling back to yesterday. Molly Hemingway back in June warned us that something was afoot. Look, you know what? I think I'm going to try to bypass this. Let's see. So-called President Biden really does not want the public to know about his federal takeover of election administration. Dozen members of Congress have repeatedly asked for details to no avail. Good government groups, members of the media, and private citizens have filed requests under the Freedom of Information Act. Not a single one has been responded to. All signs indicate a concerted effort to keep the public in the dark until at least after the November midterm elections. The lack of transparency and responsiveness is so bad that the Department of Justice and some of its agencies have been repeatedly sued for the information. When President Biden ordered all 600 federal agencies to expand citizens' opportunities to register to vote and to obtain information about and participate in the electoral process on March 7th, 2021, Republican politicians, constitutional scholars, and election integrity specialists began to worry exactly what was up his sleeve. They had good reason. The 2020 election had suffered from widespread and coordinated efforts by Democratic activists and donors to run get-out-the-vote operations from inside state and local government election offices, predominantly in the Democratic-leaning areas of swing states. Independent researchers have shown the effect of this takeover of government election offices was extremely partisan and favored Democrats overwhelmingly. Now, let me talk about that, because yesterday I made the comment that all the polls and predictions for the election may be somewhat moot. Why? I said because of TikTok voters, right? Because younger voters really don't answer polls, but they get a lot of their information from TikTok. Now, if you're on social media, if you have any type of social media, if you have a phone, if you have a smartphone or whatever, how many times over the last couple days, and how many times yesterday in particular, were you reminded that the day was election day and told to go out and vote, right? They don't typically poll young voters, and there was a large turnout of young voters, and according to some reports, the voter the young voters voted 3-1 Democrat, right? So like yesterday, at least 4 different apps that I use reminded me that it was election day. Now, I was already going to go vote, but I don't have like TikTok or any of those stupid apps. It was all over Twitter reminding me to vote. It was all over, all these apps. And TikTok in particular has not in particular, I should guess, but it definitely does, has a major left-wing slant to it. And TikTok, the dumbing down app that we use in the United States of America, compared to the one that they have in, say, China, where it's. In fact, I have an article about that. I'll get to that. But I said that, a lot of these kids who don't vote are being completely pushed on a couple things. One, abortion. And because the younger you are, the more likely you are to support abortion and think that it's a right and it's a need and everyone has to have one, right? Although not all, but a lot. And then the other one, right now, clearly, is trans rights. And I don't know why. Maybe the brainwashing machine has been going so long in the realm of education that all these kids think that, they know everything. And that's the one that, oh my God, these people are against trans rights. How many times, any of you have TikTok? If anyone in the chat has TikTok, did you get any notifications to remind you from a TikToker or a TikTok, they have those periodic things that they pop out between TikTok videos where they have some announcement or ads or articles or whatever, not articles, but ads. How many times yesterday did you hear that it was election day and go vote for, your candidate? Or even, like, I don't get ads on YouTube, but I know that people who don't use YouTube Premium get ads. How many political ads do you get on YouTube? I know there were a lot. I don't get any ads. But it's just constant. And usually the reason younger people don't vote, one, they don't really care. They don't really remember and, whatever. But if you're reminded through TikTok or through an app, there's no way you could forget that yesterday was election day. And if they're pushing your pet issue, because yesterday in the exit polls, the economy, inflation, according to a CNN poll, was by far the biggest reason people were making decisions to vote yesterday, right? 37%. But abortion was number 2, which it had been in the top 5, but it was kind of lower down, 4th. But people who voted yesterday voted on abortion because of the Dobbs decision. And some states made it some candidates made it their number 1 issue. And especially the ads that were against Republicans. So in my state, if you saw an ad about the governor's race in Jensen, the only ads that I saw against Jensen were talking about Jim Jensen's going to he wants to take away your right, or, make abortion illegal, that, no exceptions for rape and incest. And that's that. I don't think it was his specific, Scott Jensen, Dr. Scott Jensen. Same with the congressperson that in my district that had ads constantly. And just of her ads, if 9 out of 10 of her ads said something about abortion, and all the ads against Tyler Kistner, this doctor, he wants to take away your right to an abortion. He doesn't think there should be any abortions, no exceptions for rape and incest. No, that's not his position either. Now, maybe at one point he said he wanted to end abortion. Everyone should want to end abortion, whether you're pro-choice or pro-life. You would think that you would not want to have that, You think you'd want to end that barbaric practice, which I believe should be legal still, even though early in stages of pregnancy, I think it should be legal. But, and I'm certainly, I may be the minority on my own show here. No pun intended. But I think there should be some serious limits to it, right? I don't think you should be able to do it after 30 weeks. Or up to whenever. I mean, even now, let me put a caveat on that. That doesn't mean a medical decision that happens in an emergency situation where you have to decide at the last minute that this mother's going to die and we got to do something here. That's not an abortion. That's or a tubal pregnancy. That's not an abortion. That's a pregnancy that's never going to go to fruition. That'll kill both the baby and the mother. So that's when you make a decision. That's a medical decision. That's not an elective abortion. Just someone's like, well, I'm young and I'm not ready to have a baby, and I did this. I don't care, and I don't really care about morning after pills. I think I don't have a problem with that. Some people do. That might be against the Catholic Church. I'm not Catholic. I don't know, but. That's fine. Before the fertilized egg implants, that's not an abortion to me. But I don't think Natasha, exactly. It should not be funded by the government. It should be a responsibility of people who are having sex. And I don't care. I don't care if you explain to people how. Hey, guess what? If you have sex, you might get pregnant. You might want to do something about that. You might want to try birth control. I'm fine with birth control. I'm fine with everything. But abortion itself, it's whether or not you think it's a baby or an embryo, whatever. In the end, if you really think about it. It's a barbaric practice. Now, it may be necessary. Like some people say circumcisions are a barbaric practice. Male circumcision. Okay, well, you got to decide whether or not you can do that. Should there be restrictions on whatever? But it's funny, though, because there's a lot of people who are pro-choice are really anti-circumcision. I'm like, because they say circumcision is barbaric. Oh, that's barbaric? You think destroying a human life is not barbaric? I go with that Bill Burr, baking a cake joke, and I think people should have their choice, but it's still a baby. or it's a pet. It's got to be a baby. It's like, throwing out the cake. Real quick. Thank you, Tyre Alexander, for sponsoring the show. Tyre says, I'm going to borrow a phrase. People voting Democrats is like a roach voting for Raid. Wait a minute. I've heard that somewhere. That's what Sonny Hostin said about white women. The problem is that the average person is low information, and I am including myself, and that is my failing. All I can do is do better. Next election, we will endure. Yeah, I agree. We'll endure. You know what? Because this was the most important election of my lifetime, just like every other election in my lifetime was the most important election of our lifetime. You know what happens after every one of these elections, whether or not the candidates or party or philosophy or whatever that I like wins or doesn't win, I still stay alive till the next election. And, as bad as I personally believe this turned out. And look, I think it's good that the Republicans took the House. There's still potential in the Senate, or it could end up 50-50 again, whatever. But even if the Republicans didn't take, because that's, at least it changes look, here's the thing about the House. If they did get their net 6 that they needed to take the House, one of the other pictures I have on that thumbnail, winners and losers, is Nancy Pelosi. Oh, I want to tell you why I put the winners and losers I put up there on the picture, by the way. I have Ron DeSantis, self-explanatory. And honestly, I think he's maybe by far the biggest winner yesterday for a couple reasons. One, and I want to hear your opinion on this. Does yesterday's elections hurt the guy with the funny hair? I was going to put him on there as possibly well, the media obviously is going to spin him as one of the losers. Maybe. Look, 300 people that he endorsed that made it into election yesterday. A bunch of them won, but of course they were going to probably win anyway. They're in safe districts. But one of the biggest, there's three of the biggest ones that were very public endorsements out of four. J.D. Vance won handily in Ohio, beat Tim Ryan. Dr. Oz, I've never understood that endorsement in Pennsylvania. The carpetbagger charge alone probably didn't do him well. And again, how Lurch and Uncle Fester's love child pulled that through, I have no idea, other than Dr. Oz was a terrible candidate. In Georgia, yes, Herschel Walker is in a runoff race with Raphael Warnock, but Herschel Walker is a terrible candidate. That's a Trump candidate. Donald Trump didn't spend a lot of time giving his blessing to Ron DeSantis, because Ron DeSantis is a possible rival. In fact, he made a disparaging remark about him the other day, and then the next day said, "Hey, you guys are going to vote for your great governor Ron." So I don't give him credit for that one at all. That's all Ron DeSantis, and I would say it's all Ron DeSantis that flipped Florida red. And then now he has Carrie Lake, who is close. But we're not going to find out if there's a cigar until probably a week from Thursday, because that's how long it's going to take to count the votes in Arizona. And I'm sure there'll be some ones that they got caught in one of those machines that wasn't working right, and it'll be 99% for what's her face, the Hobbs. So obviously, the most prominent people that Trump endorsed, the biggest, most, the closest races, didn't all go all that well. He got 1 for 4 so far, okay, and definitely lost 1. So there's 2 left that we're not sure about our toss-ups still. So I don't know. I think it's a loss for Trump. Does it hurt him with his base? No. But, yes. Oh, interesting. Is this from you today, Gunfox? Well, here, let's check out this article that Gunfox just sent me real quick. But Trump's advisors are terrible. I think, look. If you get into a 2024 primary and Ron DeSantis does decide to run, who gets, and you're looking at a race between those two in the primaries. Yes, Trump is the best on the planet at making up insults and doing all this kind of stuff, right? But if you look at the Republican base, not the Trump base, but the entire Republican base, looking at competence as a leader, and what can Ron DeSantis say competing against Trump? Oh, you mean you're the guy who did Operation Warp Speed, and that's what gave us these vaccines? Oh, you're the one who followed the advice of Dr. Anthony Fauci. Well, sort of. He tried to. You didn't fire Fauci. You didn't remove him from this board. Ron DeSantis making moves down there, I get, for parents and, the Parents' Rights Acts. Ron DeSantis with a budget surplus of what, they have a budget surplus of like $1 billion in Florida too, despite the things they've done. So I'm like, if you want to talk about governance, and Ron DeSantis has assembled a really good team around him. Can you say Trump assembled a really good team around him? Granted, half the people he put around him were trying to sabotage him. Do you think Ron DeSantis can put together a team of competent people in a government? Well, he's kind of proven that he can. Trump is still the elephant in the room, right? No pun intended. Trump's still very popular with a very a large base of people, but I don't blame Trump for what the loss is, but I will say he is incompetent at trusting people to be advisors. He can't spot a traitor. He's too influenced by ego strokers. And also I think he's too influenced by celebrity, and that's why I think he pushed Dr. Oz over a couple of the other primary candidates in Pennsylvania. And that's definitely what he did with Herschel Walker. There's people down in Georgia, Republicans of the melanated variety who've been working with Brian Kemp and probably had a couple other candidates that would have been better than Herschel Walker. But Trump knows the name Herschel Walker, so that's easier for him. Is that better for Georgia, though? Now, Herschel Walker could still possibly win, but I don't know. All right, let me check out this article that Gunfox just sent me because let's see here. This is from Newsbreak. Pelosi says a massive misinformation campaign funded by people who are still fighting the Civil War is keeping Biden from getting credits for his accomplishments. Oh my God, Gunfox, what the hell are you sending me? This is from Business Insider. Business Insider, if you don't know, is a very left-leaning magazine. Don't let the word business in the name of Business Insider fool you. Is this the full article or do I have to click farther on? Okay, here's the article. Pelosi was asked if she thinks the Biden administration has done a good job with political messaging. She said that Biden has to deal with massive disinformation campaign that confuses people. She says it's funded by people who don't want to pay taxes and are still fighting the Civil War. Okay. First, Nancy, I have just one thing to say to you. Fuck you. Oh, fuck you, fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you. Fuck you, fuck you. Thank you. Thank you very much. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi offered a colorful description of what she deems to be a massive disinformation campaign complicating the White House's political messaging. You know what else complicates the White House's political messaging? Sponge-brained shitpants Joe Biden, who the White House has to come and clean up every time he spittles whatever bullshit comes out of his mouth. That's who is doing the massive disinformation campaign complicating the White House's political messaging. Anyway, she said that during election night interview on PBS NewsHour on Tuesday, asked by Judy. Here, let's see. Is this on here? Let's see here. Is this here? Here, let's watch this. Oh no, it's 2 hours long. 11 hours long. We're not going to find that shit. Okay, here it is. Asked by host Judy Woodruff whether she believed President Joe Biden and his administration had done a sufficient job getting the message out about his administration's accomplishments. One man's accomplishments is another man's wood chipper. Tall person, thank you. Good to catch one of these again, and good to see you on Rumble. Happy National Chaos Never Dies Day. Thank you, tall person. Response to the show. I appreciate it on the Rumble rant side of the show. Pelosi said she had no complaints whatsoever about the White House. You know that bitch is lying. She's lying her ass off. She is lying her ass off. Oh, later, Zach. Thank you. Oh, bye-bye, Marty's YouTube again. What did I say? Market Watch app pushes Business Insider hard. Business Insider is the most... Its name is so insidious because it's not a business magazine. It's a left-wing rag. Anyway, here we go. Here's what we said. What I say is there is a massive disinformation campaign that's going on in our country. It's repeated again and again on TV. The clicks on it are formidable. Well, first of all, you don't click on TV, you click on the internet. But the massive misinformation campaign comes out of Joe Biden's mouth. She went on to say that the disinformation is funded by endless, deep, dark, special interests money. People who don't want to pay taxes, people who are still fighting the Civil War, or some combination of those people. Fighting the Civil War? Bitch, what the fuck are you talking about? God, I'm just swearing up store now. People are still fighting the Civil War. What Civil War? She's a moron. She's a complete moron. She added that Biden doesn't get the credit he deserves, and that the American people are certainly better off than they were 2 years ago. Okay, why? Because pandemic is whose fault is the pandemic? Again, it's because of disinformation. They suffocate the airwaves with disinformation, and that confuses people. Who suffocates the airwaves with disinformation? Her remarks came on election night, where Democrats are widely expected to lose their House majority as Pelosi's own political future hangs in the balance. It was the second sit-down interview she gave since her husband, Paul Pelosi, was attacked with a hammer. In their San Francisco home by a man motivated by right-wing conspiracy theories about Pelosi. Have anyone in the media confirmed that? They keep saying it. Who, what? If they confirm that? Motivated by right-wing conspiracy theories about Pelosi. How do you know that? Because they still haven't... I don't think they've released any of the interviews. I don't think they've in fact, they really don't even know who let the police in the house so they could see Paul Pelosi get hit with a hammer that he was struggling with the other guy. Also, I'm just curious, when the police, I know this is still on my mind. So Paul Pelosi calls the police. First of all, supposedly this guy breaks into their house, okay? And he gets up to the third floor, and somewhere they keep saying where's Nancy, but no one's reported that except for who? Paul Pelosi, because the police never heard that. Then, and apparently the bedroom that Paul Pelosi sleeps, it's a 3-story house, and the bedroom is on the 3rd story, and apparently they have an elevator in the house, and so there's up on the 3rd floor, right? And what ensues between them and the 3rd floor and this call to the police that supposedly he got into a bathroom where he's charged his phone and called the police, and then they go down in the elevator and they go and somebody answers the door, because remember, the police come in on the 1st floor. And they come in, and supposedly, at least according to that NBC report that they've retracted, Paul Pelosi himself opened the door. But in the original reports, there was a 3rd person who opened the door. But then they changed that to nobody opened the door. The door was open. But how did the door get open if the guy broke in through the back door? But then, so then the 3rd report says Pelosi opened the door. But then Pelosi didn't ask for help. But then he went and struggled with the hammer at the guy. And then the hammer guy yanked the hanger from him and hit him in the head while the police are just standing there watching like some idiots. Okay, How do we know the man's motivation? Because remember, this is a guy who lives kind of with some nudists, and they have the Black Lives Matter flag, and it's kind of a commune kind of place with the rainbow flag, and there's a bus that he sometimes sleeps in, because I don't know if he's homeless or not, if he's part of the commune. But all of a sudden, and within the last 2 months, he's all of a sudden this right-wing MAGA guy. I'm sure he was wearing MAGA hat, and Paul Pelosi must have had a Subway sandwich with him, but we still don't know. We don't know because they won't release the body cam footage. They won't release the security cam footage. The body cam footage, normally in San Francisco, they release body cam footage, but they're not going to for this one because, oh my gosh, is there someone who is really powerful that's just stopping them from actually giving out all the information? Oh, wait, this is one of the most powerful women in America and one of the most popular politicians in San Francisco, so I can't imagine that she would have any control whatsoever over the San Francisco Police Department, or at least the secret, or the the Capitol Police people that monitor her home. I mean, sure, we're getting the exact story, and they absolutely know that this guy was a MAGA right-wing guy motivated by right-wing conspiracy theories about Pelosi. Thank you, Business Insider. You completely objective and pristine example of journalism. Just saying. So... Damn you, Gunfox. Welcome to the show, sir. And thank you, Gunfox61. You are the new Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Thank you very much. Appreciate you greatly for getting me to get on that rant. Good. All right. Believe it or not, I've ranted for an entire stream, and I haven't really said anything about the election, I guess. By the way, good news, John James in Michigan is now Congressman John James. He won the U.S. House race in Michigan 10, so that's good news. That's the same John James. He ran for the Senate one time, and I think he ran for governor against Whitler the last time. Was that the last time? Anyway, unlike Beto O'Rourke, John James is not a three-time loser. He will be in the new Congress, so good for him. Let's see if there's any new stuff going on here. I'll just go in here and then we'll get out of here. There's my wait a minute, that's a long time ago. That's from an hour and a half ago. Let's see, Comfortably Smug happening now. DCC chairman, the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, S.P. Maloney, tearing up in his concession speech to Lawler, New York. Oh, he lost. Maloney lost. Look at this. He's the Democratic Congressional Campaign Chairman Committee, Congressional Committee. What's his name? Sean Patrick Maloney. He lost. As we sit here, I can't with 100% certainty tell you who holds the House majority, he says. That's because, they don't know for sure. DeFuture, this is the New York Post front page. Young GOP star DeSantis romps to victory in Florida. They call him DeFuture. That sounds like a rapper name, DeFuture. Let's see. Ron Johnson is the projected winner in Wisconsin. It was close, but they have projected that he's winning re-election. Let's see. Existing meeting. The new paper. I don't know what that is. That's an ad. Let's see. Nancy Mace. GOP Representative Nancy Mace says, I was actually surprised by the outcome of our own election. South Carolina's first congressional district is a swing district, and it's a place where Republicans are outnumbered 2-1 by Democrats and independents. Let's see.
I was actually surprised by the outcome of our own election. South Carolina's first congressional district is a swing district. It's a place.
Yes, it is that soft, guys.
Where Republicans are outnumbered 2-1 by Democrats and independents. And I will tell you, my polling had us down in single digits leading into the final couple days of the race. We worked really hard in the last 2 weeks to get a message to talk about inflation, to talk about crime, and also to talk about abortion. So
Nancy Mace swung. I don't need to hear any of that. I was just seeing if there's any new things. Oh, Oliver Willis. I've been following Oliver since he was a teenager. He's a teenage blogger, but he's a total Democrat, like sycophant. He used to work for Media Matters. Now he works for some other, left-wing rag. Democrats are captured by the zeitgeist by talking about issues like abortion, access, and the threat to democracy, while Republicans were punished for embracing fringe topics like complaints about drag shows and calling Mickey Mouse a pedophile. No. How so? If Ron DeSantis won handily in Florida. So I don't know if that's the Republicans being punished for that. Let's see. Trending, sickening. Guys, if I can be this happy living in a district Cori Bush won, you can stop moping. Oh, hell yeah. That's Neville the Cat, Fear the Floof. That's the guy who got kicked off of Twitter. What did he get kicked off of Twitter for? It was something that no one should ever be kicked off Twitter for, but he's back. He's good. Oh, good. Biological male won Miss Greater Dairy, which is a beauty pageant in New Hampshire under the Miss America organization. What? Okay, oh my God. Oh, and it's Dairy, D-E-R-R-Y, not D-A-I-R-Y, which you would think that would make more sense. Oh, boy. Let's see. Anyone else? Felicia Kelly, you should follow her. She's working hard down in Georgia, spreading the word in the black community down there for Republicans. Abrams told women, namely black women, that an unborn child's heartbeat is fake. And in Georgia, the pro-life movement is strong. Only 17% of white women get abortions. Abrams is also a progressive. Men don't want their economics trampled. The numbers support the qualitative data. So just said Abrams only getting 25% of the... Wait a minute. So someone's saying, okay, 2018, this poll shows 11% of black men voted for Kemp. In contrast, 2022, 14% of black men voted for Kemp. The increase is in light of higher voter turnout, more registered voters, and black outreach on the right. I have the data I need to proceed with the CCM's data. And this person saying Abrams only getting 25% of white male and female voters is insane. Why is that insane? I don't know. Let's see. Biden Fetterman 2024. Fetterman for president in 2024. After tonight, people are asking. Oh, my Lord. All right. Tim Carney, I'm disappointed that 3/4 of my neighbors are sexist, anti-immigrant, pro-Putin voters who support a used car salesman. I don't know who won his district. Cat turd. I could walk from Florida to Arizona and count every ballot left by myself faster than they can. Talking about the speed of voters the vote counting. The dam finally broke for Trump supporters last night, seeing a lot of the pro-Trump folks starting to see the writing on the wall. That's me. Free tip to the GOP, don't back Trump, endorse candidates. People are sick of bullying politics, which is refreshing. Yeah, I don't know about that. I would say that's maybe sick of or not convinced that bad candidates are the ones you should vote for. Dr. Oz. How the hell did we lose the Senate race in Pennsylvania with John Fetterman running? How? Oh my God. All right. Guys, I'm going to have to call that a day. Oh, but then, all right. One more. Sticks pointed this one out. And this is what you're going to hear from the New York Times. This is going to be their favorite thing. More than 200 Republicans who questioned or denied the 2020 election results have won in the midterms so far, according to results as of early Wednesday morning. Here's the breakdown. So they're on this, the New York Times is on this big kick talking about the election deniers. We might have to talk about this later this afternoon. I'll be do my research. Chad, if you're still here, this is what I'm going to do my research on: the election deniers that won midterm elections. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got to go. But thank you so much for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I am here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central for my fellow Minnesotans like Kay. And if you would be so kind, before you click anything, click the like button. Like, don't click the back button. Click the like button first. And if you're on Rumble, click the plus sign, or you can punch that thing on the phone. You can fist the phone there. And it'll make your day better, and it'll make my day better too. Also, if you haven't subscribed to me on Rumble, I would really appreciate just doing it. I need a few more just to get to that 100. I don't want to pay for streaming on Rumble anymore. And so that's it. Ladies and gentlemen, and you can always sponsor the show 24 hours a day at pdognight.live or Venmo or Cash App or YouTube Super Chats during the show. So thank you, everybody. I got to go. This afternoon. Oh, did he put that link up? Hang on. Let me put this link up for this afternoon for I'm going to be on another show this afternoon about election results. If I can find it, it's give me a second. It is oh shoot. I'll put links in my Twitter and in my community tab this afternoon, but because I don't have a link to the show. Oh wait, it's in my, hang on, I know where it is. I know where to find it. It should be, I'll scroll down, I'll find it. Jesus, lots of people doing election results yesterday. Oh, where the hell is it? Well, I'll have to put this out later because I'm out of time and I have to go. So, but my regular show will be tomorrow, and who knows? I may do more streams, whatnot. So, thank you for joining me today. Time to go. My name is P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is P-Dog Knight, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Knight, and I'm out of here.